think any creative person knows that there are times when you feel compelled to make things that don't really make any sense, but you don't question the muse, you just go along with it. And such is the case with the Long Dragon Scale Bag, I think is the name of the pattern. It's by Cottontail and Whiskers, and I started this green part when I was in Michigan on the ferry out over to Mackinac Island for the day, and ran out of the green and modified when I was in Yellowstone. I remember making a little bit of a video about that, when I modified to make the purple be the dragon's face, and then I modified it a little bit more. Let's see, I've got a magnetic clasp here, which would be easier to open if I was wearing it. I made a crossbody strap, and what I did was keep the top of the face loose. I lined it so it has two pockets. A nice spacious pocket is the main pocket, and then somewhat smaller for the inside the dragon's face. And then I bought this magnetic clasp, which I think is a nice feature, and it's got three-dimensional with the eyelids. I don't know if you can see that, and the snout. And this is, what is it called? Turkey stitch, waffle stitch, something. It's a less stretchy strap than most crocheted straps are. I'm sure you've seen crocheted bags that the straps end up, like market bags where people wear them and the bag ends up being around their ankles because the strap stretches. This has still somewhat of a stretch, but not nearly as much as regular crocheting would. So that was new to me, and the whole thing was kind of fun. I've never done stitch with the scales. I've never put a magnetic clasp on anything, which was a little more complicated than you might think, because the pegs that go through to hold the magnets in place would have come through to the front here, so I had to use a piece of denim to give it a little extra support. But it's done now, and it is, I didn't know who it was for or why I was making it, but must make. And then a friend, and one of my oldest friends, Lauren, she and Meg have a daughter who is a princess who regularly protects her lair with a dragon of assorted formats, and threats to all those who may dare to enter. And I said, would the princess like a dragon bag? And turns out she would. So I made the strap the right length for her body, crossbody bag, and I'll be mailing this off to Canada pretty soon. So another thing done. I'm on a roll lately. That's fun. As anybody who knows me knows, I don't shop. So when things break or rip, I try to make their lives last longer. This tank top I've had it a long time. It's had a plenty long life. But the bust dart stitching started to give way recently. So you're better at sewing than I am. Hand sewing, Leah. Any kind of sewing, you're better at it than I am at this point. But I did what I could and re-sewed my little bust dart. So this is kind of probably my rattiest shirt. So it doesn't have to be good. And now it's a little more ratty, but at least the bust dart is sewn. So quick little stitching this morning. So I'm not anywhere particularly picturesque, but it probably looks more picturesque in the picture than it is in real life. I'm right next to a highway because I need to go to the grocery store that's down the road, and this was an easy place to just stop for the night so that I could go get my groceries, fill up my fridge before I move on to my next spot. So it's a nice morning. It feels good to get little tasks done each time. We've got cold and hail and rain and raw. Just a raw Saturday here in California. I hear it's warm in Connecticut. While here at Down to Earth EcoShire, I got the sad news that some acquaintances lost one of their twin babies in utero, and I wanted to do some. There's nothing you can do, but I wanted to express caring somehow. So I saw a picture of a heart like this crocheted. There was no pattern, but I kind of reverse engineered it and just sat quietly to myself, made this heart, and then I hung it on a tree overlooking the beautiful valley that had the rainbow earlier, and just with good thoughts for them and to send them love. You know, there's nothing you can do, but you can express that you care. So I did. This little house just climbed the San Jacinto mountain range, peak. I don't know, San Jacinto something. I think that might be the northern end of the Salton Sea in the distance, I think, maybe. You can see some of the twisty-turny road that I drove up here in low gear. And I think this is called the Coachella, well, right down below here where the people are, is called the Coachella Valley Overlook. So I assume that's the Coachella Valley. Not a bad place to spend the night. And maybe call my work zone for tomorrow. Would be a good office view. It's now the next morning, so it's much brighter than when I took the video last night. Maybe you can actually see the twisty road that I came up, which was kind of fun. And I didn't see the snow-capped mountains last night in the distance, but they sure are pretty today. So anyway, I worked for a little while, taking a break to talk to you for a little while, and then I'll be going down from the mountain because I should have gotten water before I came up here. I need to go stock up my water again, and the drive up here on that twisty road is not difficult, and it's all very nicely paved and everything. But once you get to the little turnoff to come up to where I'm parked, it's rough, and I probably shouldn't have done it in my van. It would be much more suited to a four-wheel drive vehicle right at the beginning of the entrance of it. But I did it, and I will find my way back out again, but I don't necessarily want to do it again. So this was probably a one night place to sleep, and I'm glad I did it. But I probably won't come back tonight. So anyway, I'm up here just hanging for a little bit and enjoying the view, and the air is cool and the sun is warm and it's just beautiful. So I thought I'd show you a couple things I've been working on lately. One of the things I did is these crocheted, the pattern is griddle stitch mitts, and griddle stitch is single crochet, double crochet, single crochet, double crochet, and then alternate that on the next round. So they're just really simple mitts, and I've made these before, and they were a good little filler while I was being sociable. So I've got a pair of them. It turns out that I like them better inside out than right side out. There's not a big difference in the texture, but it looks nicer at the places where you pick up for the ribbing. It is a little more seamless when the pattern is inside out when it's done. So made a pair of those and blocked them a couple of days. This pattern is called the Valentina Shawl, and it's by Lucia's Fig Tree, which is Lucia Dunn. And it is a nice crocheted scarf. I would wear it as a scarf, but it could be a shawl. That I made a green and purple version like a year ago and immediately cast this one on. And then somehow put it aside, and I finally just finished it this past week or so and blocked it, which is a challenge in a van a house as small as mine, because you know it's my full wingspan, so 5.5 or so feet, This I think might even be longer. And, you know, my van's not that big, so a little creativity to get it blocked nicely, but it sure does make a nice project. The stripe part you don't have to pay too much attention to, it just kind of easy social stitching, and then the lace is just fun. It comes together nicely and makes a nice project. So I'm happy to have that done, and I can't remember what version I have, but I have my wool wash is Soak. I don't remember what fragrance it is, but God, it smells good. So I'm constantly sniffing this thing. Yeah, it just smells really nice. So, nice thing to have finished. Nice place to hang.